Have you ever felt that a relationship in your life is draining your energy, undermining your confidence, and eroding your sense of self-worth? Imagine this. Every time you talk to them, you leave the conversation feeling exhausted. You start questioning yourself, doubting your own decisions. You feel guilty for things that are not even your fault. And yet you stay. Why do you stay? Because they are family. Because they have been in your life for years. Because you tell yourself that walking away would make you a bad person. But here is the truth. Some relationships are worth holding on to, while others will slowly destroy you. The Stoics understood this well. Today we will explore 9 clear signs that it is time to cut ties, even if it is painful, even if it is with someone close. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is about taking control of your life, protecting your peace, and refusing to let toxic relationships dictate your self-worth. Make sure to stay until the end, because the last sign is the most dangerous, yet the most common one that people overlook. If you find these insights valuable, take a moment to support this channel by subscribing and turning on notifications. It helps spread this message to those who need it. Now, let us begin. Sign 1. They only take, never give. Do you know someone who only reaches out when they need something? A person who is always ready to receive but never willing to give. A healthy relationship is built on mutual respect and reciprocity. If you find yourself in a dynamic where you are always the giver while the other person takes without hesitation, it is a clear red flag. People like this do not see relationships as partnerships. They see them as resources to exploit. I once had a friend who always had financial excuses. Whenever we planned something together, he would claim that he could not afford it. Yet I noticed that he had no problem spending money on personal luxuries or impressing others. It was never about his financial situation. It was about what he valued, and clearly, our friendship was not on that list. Seneca warned us that wealth is not about having more but needing less. A person who only prioritizes their own needs while disregarding their obligations to others is not a true friend. It is a sign of someone who lacks integrity. But this is not just about money. It applies to emotional support, time, and effort. I think about the people in your life. Are there those who always expect you to listen to their problems but never have time for yours? Do you find yourself rearranging your schedule for them while they never make the same effort for you? This is not a relationship. It is an uneven transaction. True connection is about balance. If you constantly feel like you are the one giving, sacrificing, or adjusting while the other person takes it all for granted, step back and ask yourself why you are allowing it. Good relationships are built on fairness, trust, and mutual care. If someone values what they can get from you more than your presence, they do not deserve a place in your life. The truth is, they will never change. If they cared, they would have already shown it through their actions. You do not have to explain yourself or convince them to change. Your energy is valuable. Your time is precious. If someone only reaches out when they need something but disappears when you need them, ask yourself this. Are they truly a friend or just a taker? You deserve better. Set your boundaries and walk away. Sign 2. They thrive on conflict. Do you know someone who turns every discussion into an argument? A person who seems to enjoy conflict, who always looks for a fight, and who never lets things go. Some people do not seek understanding. They seek control. They do not argue to find truth. They argue to win. They do not listen to your perspective. They wait for their turn to speak. I once had a friend like this. He seemed confident on the surface, but whenever there was a minor disagreement, he would turn it into a full-scale argument. One day, during a simple conversation about weekend plans, he tried to force me to take his side in an unrelated conflict. That was the moment I knew. He did not want friendship. He wanted loyalty at all costs. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." People who constantly stir up conflict are not strong. They are emotionally unstable. They need chaos to feel important. They thrive on making others uncomfortable because it gives them a sense of control. But here is what you must understand. Engaging with them is a trap. You will never win, because they are not seeking resolution. They want to drain your energy, pull you into their negativity, and leave you exhausted. You might tell yourself that if you explain things clearly, they will understand, but they will not. You might hope that if you stay calm, they will stop provoking you, but they will not. Their goal is not peace. Their goal is power. You do not have to participate. The strongest person in the room is not the one who wins the argument. It is the one who refuses to be pulled into it. If someone in your life thrives on conflict, constantly argues over small matters, and pressures you to pick sides, step away. You will find peace in silence. You will find clarity in distance. You will find freedom when you stop letting others dictate your emotions. Protect your energy. Walk away from those who thrive on conflict, because the more time you spend in unnecessary battles, the less time you have for what truly matters. And that includes your peace of mind. Sign 3. They dismiss your feelings. Have you ever shared something deeply personal, only to have it brushed aside as if it did not matter? Have you ever opened up about your struggles, only to be met with indifference or a quick change of subject? A true connection is built on respect and understanding. When someone constantly dismisses your feelings, they are not just being thoughtless. They are showing you that your emotions do not matter to them. I once confided in a friend about the overwhelming stress of balancing work while caring for an aging parent. Instead of listening, he immediately shifted the conversation to his own struggles at work, as if my challenges did not exist. That moment was eye-opening. I realized that some people do not listen to understand. They listen to respond. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." A person who truly values you will listen. They will acknowledge your emotions, even if they cannot fully relate. They will not make everything about themselves. But what happens when you keep allowing someone to dismiss your feelings? You start doubting yourself. You begin to believe that maybe your concerns are not important, that maybe you are just overreacting. This is emotional erosion. The longer you stay, the more you start to silence yourself. The more you convince yourself that your emotions do not matter. And when that happens, you lose a part of who you are. Your emotions are valid. Your experiences matter. A person who cannot respect that does not deserve your energy. If someone constantly makes you feel invisible, unheard, or unimportant, it is time to step back. You do not have to prove that your feelings are real. You do not have to beg someone to care. Respect yourself enough to walk away from those who do not respect your emotions. Surround yourself with people who listen, who care, and who make you feel seen. Your voice deserves to be heard. Do not waste it on those who refuse to listen. Sign 4. They force their beliefs on you. Have you ever felt pressured to think, believe, or live a certain way just to satisfy someone else? Have you been in conversations where the other person was not interested in discussing ideas, but only in convincing you that their way was the only way? A mature person respects differences. They understand that people come from different backgrounds with different experiences and perspectives. But some people do not seek understanding. They seek control. I once had a friend who tried to impose his beliefs on me every time we spoke. Whether it was about politics, religion, or lifestyle choices, he would always argue that his perspective was the only correct one. It was never a discussion. It was a lecture. At first I engaged. I thought that if I explained my point of view clearly, he would respect it. But over time I realized that the arguments were not about truth or wisdom. They were about power. He wanted me to surrender to his way of thinking. That is when I knew. This was not a friendship. It was a battle for control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. You have the right to think for yourself. You have the right to form your own beliefs. You do not owe anyone an explanation for choosing what aligns with your values." There is no wisdom in forcing others to conform. True wisdom is found in seeking understanding, in listening without judgment, and in knowing when to walk away. If someone in your life constantly pressures you to adopt their way of thinking, if they ridicule your choices, or try to make you feel inferior for believing differently, you do not need to argue. You do not need to prove yourself. Simply step away. You cannot change someone who refuses to see beyond their own perspective, but you can protect your peace by refusing to engage in their battles. Let them believe what they want. You do not have to participate. Your mind is your own. Guard it. Choose your thoughts wisely. And do not waste time defending yourself to those who will never truly listen. Sign 5. You feel drained after seeing them. Have you ever noticed that some people leave you feeling exhausted, even if the conversation was not particularly negative? Have you ever met a friend or relative and walked away feeling emotionally drained instead of uplifted? This is not a coincidence. The people we surround ourselves with have a direct impact on our mental and emotional well-being. A healthy relationship should bring balance, not exhaustion. I once had a childhood friend who used to bring me joy. We shared great memories, laughed together, and supported each other. But over time, something changed. Our conversations became forced. The connection we once had started to feel distant. Every time we met, I felt an invisible weight pressing down on me. At first, I ignored it. I thought it was just a phase. But the more I forced myself to maintain the friendship, the more I realized that we had simply grown apart. And that is okay. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." Not every relationship is meant to last forever. People grow, priorities change, and sometimes the best way to respect what once was is to let go of what no longer fits. It does not mean you have to end the relationship in anger. It does not mean you have to explain yourself or justify your feelings. It simply means recognizing that when a connection no longer brings mutual joy or support, it may be time to step back. Many people hold on to relationships out of guilt, obligation, or nostalgia. But staying in a relationship that drains you is not an act of loyalty. It is an act of self-betrayal. You do not owe anyone endless access to your time and energy, especially if they leave you feeling worse after every interaction. If you constantly feel exhausted, emotionally depleted, or disconnected after seeing someone, listen to that feeling. It is telling you something important. Relationships should not feel like a burden. The right people will energize you, inspire you, and bring you peace. Trust yourself enough to walk away from those who do not, because a relationship should not feel like a burden. It should feel like a place where you are understood, valued, and free to be yourself. Sign 6. They constantly complain. Have you ever felt like an emotional dumping ground for someone who never stops complaining? Do you have people in your life who always focus on their problems but never take action to fix them? Everyone faces difficulties. Everyone needs to vent sometimes, but there is a difference between sharing struggles and using others as an emotional trash bin. If someone only brings negativity into your life, never showing gratitude or effort to improve, they are not looking for support. They are looking for someone to absorb their misery. I once had a colleague who constantly complained about work. Every conversation was the same. My boss does not appreciate me. My co-workers are difficult. I am so unlucky. At first I listened, thinking she just needed someone to talk to. But over time I realized something. She did not want advice. She did not want solutions. She wanted someone to validate her negativity. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." People who always complain are not just hurting themselves. They drain the energy of those around them. They trap themselves in their own misery and try to pull others in with them. If someone in your life is always complaining but never making an effort to change, you need to ask yourself a serious question. Is this relationship helping you grow, or is it pulling you down? Listening to others is an act of kindness, but allowing someone to fill your mind with endless negativity is self-destructive. You are not obligated to fix people who refuse to help themselves. Protect your peace. Surround yourself with those who focus on solutions, not just problems. Choose relationships that inspire you, not ones that drain you. Sign 7. They break promises. Have you ever waited for someone who never showed up? Have you ever trusted someone's word, only to be disappointed when they failed to follow through? A promise is more than just words. It is a commitment. It is a reflection of integrity and respect. When someone repeatedly breaks their promises, they are not just being forgetful or irresponsible. They are showing you that your time and trust are not important to them. I once had a friend who always made plans but never followed through. She would enthusiastically agree to meet, only to cancel at the last minute or worse, forget entirely. One day, after waiting for over an hour at a coffee shop, I received a short message. "I totally forgot we had plans today. Sorry." That moment changed everything. It was not the first time, and I knew it would not be the last. I realized something important. If someone cannot be relied upon for small things, they cannot be trusted with bigger things either. Epictetus said, "A good character is not shaped by chance but by choice." Trust is built through consistent actions, not empty words. People who break promises easily do not value accountability. They expect you to always understand, always forgive, always adjust to their unreliability. But relationships do not work that way. If someone repeatedly lets you down, do not keep giving them more chances. Stop expecting them to change. They have already shown you who they are. You deserve relationships based on reliability, not uncertainty. Respect yourself enough to walk away from those who do not respect your time. Sign 8. They keep talking about the same problems. Have you ever had the same conversation with someone over and over again? No matter how many times you offer advice or encouragement, they always come back with the same complaints, the same excuses, and the same problems. There is a difference between needing support and refusing to grow. Some people are not looking for solutions. They are looking for attention. They do not want to move forward. They want to stay in their cycle of self-pity and drag others into it with them. I once had a former colleague who always complained about work. Every day it was the same story. My boss is unfair. My co-workers are difficult. My job is exhausting. At first I listened. I even offered advice. But every time I suggested a solution, she ignored it and returned to the same complaints the next day. That is when I understood. She was not looking for change. She was looking for someone to validate her misery. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." People who refuse to take responsibility for their lives will always look for someone else to blame. And if you keep engaging, they will use you as their emotional safety net, draining your energy while refusing to change their situation. You cannot help someone who does not want to help themselves. It is not your responsibility to keep listening to someone who refuses to act. Protect your time and energy. Surround yourself with people who seek solutions, not just sympathy. Choose relationships that encourage growth, not ones that keep you stuck in the same conversations. Sign 9. They live in the past. Have you ever met someone who cannot stop talking about their past achievements? Every conversation leads back to what they used to have, what they used to do, or who they used to be. At first, it might seem harmless, maybe even impressive. But over time you start to realize that their focus on the past is not about sharing wisdom. It is about escaping the present. I once knew someone who always talked about the awards he won years ago. Every discussion turned into a long speech about his past successes. But when the conversation shifted to his current life, he avoided the topic. It became clear that he was stuck. He was living in a time that no longer existed. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Life is happening now. The present moment is where growth, learning, and fulfillment exist. A person who constantly clings to the past is not embracing life. They are running from it. But here is where this becomes dangerous. People who live in the past often expect others to do the same. They resist change. They discourage new ideas. They try to pull you back instead of moving forward with you. If you spend too much time around them, you risk becoming stuck yourself. You are not responsible for making someone accept the present. You are responsible for making the most of your own life. If someone is trapped in their past and refuses to embrace change, you do not have to follow them. Let go of what was. Focus on what is. Surround yourself with people who are growing, learning, and evolving. That is where true fulfillment is found. Conclusion. Life is too short to be surrounded by relationships that drain your energy, weaken your confidence, and take away your sense of peace. The people you keep in your life should uplift you, not pull you down. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. But your thoughts are influenced by the people around you. If your relationships are filled with negativity, manipulation, or exhaustion, you will struggle to find peace." It is not selfish to walk away from toxic relationships. It is not cruel to set boundaries. It is necessary. You are not obligated to keep people in your life simply because of history, blood, or guilt. Respect is earned through actions, not through time spent together. Cutting ties is not easy. There may be fear, doubt, and even guilt. But here is what you need to remember. The right people will never make you feel trapped. The right people will never make you question your worth. If a relationship forces you to shrink yourself, suppress your feelings, or live in constant conflict, it is not worth holding on to. You deserve peace. You deserve relationships that bring value, respect, and mutual care. Choose them wisely. If this message resonated with you, I want to hear your story. Have you experienced any of these signs? How did you handle it? Leave a comment with the word peacefulness and share your thoughts. Your experience could be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If you have not yet subscribed, now is the time. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay connected for more insights on Stoic wisdom and personal growth. Thank you for being here. Keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep protecting your peace.